Today, I'm reacting to the opening lecture of Azeem Rehman Usmani's course on atheism. I actually appreciated something about this lecture. Instead of immediately attacking atheists, he encouraged Muslims to study, investigate, and build their beliefs on understanding rather than blind inheritance. I think that is good advice, but I strongly disagree with one recurring claim that many people leave Islam simply because they never seriously studied it. I can't speak for every atheist or every ex-Muslim. Some undoubtedly leave religion for superficial reasons, but that isn't everyone's story, and it certainly isn't mine. Ironically, my journey began because I was taking Islam seriously. I was not looking for excuses to leave. I approached Islam as a literal revelation from God. If the Quran describes Adam as the first human being, I assumed it meant exactly that. If prophets performed miracles, I assumed those miracles really happened. If the Quran described historical events, I expected them to correspond to reality. The first major crack was evolution. Evolution by natural selection provided a natural explanation for the appearance of design in living organisms and human origins. That directly challenged my literal understanding of Adam and creation. Once that foundation cracked, I became willing to re-examine everything else. People sometimes think my argument against Islam is simply evolution disproved religion. That's not my actual position. If evolution had never been discovered, I might still believe some creator exists. I might even have become a deist or an agnostic because the universe still raises profound philosophical questions. But I do not think I would still be a Muslim. Why? Because the more I studied Islam, the more difficult its moral and theological claims became for me to reconcile with the idea of a perfect revelation. This brings me to what I think is the central question. Muslims often respond by saying, quote, Muhammad was a man of the 7th century, society was different. I understand that historical context matters, but then I have to ask, what exactly was the purpose of revelation? If God's final messenger ultimately teaches what a morally respectable 7th century leader would have taught on issues such as slavery, concubinage, and severe criminal punishments, where is the unmistakable moral leap that we would expect from a timeless revelation? A revelation from an all-knowing and perfectly good God should not merely fit comfortably into its historical context. It should also point humanity beyond it. The speaker argues that many critics never seriously study Islam. That may be true in some cases, but it cannot be used as a universal explanation. History is full of people who investigated their beliefs seriously and reached different conclusions. Some become more religious after study. Others lose their faith after study. The fact that someone reaches a different conclusion does not prove they never investigated honestly. In my own case, deeper study did not weaken my commitment to truth. It weakened my confidence that Islam was true. Another point I think is often overlooked is that arguments for a creator are not automatically arguments for Islam. Even if someone became convinced that the universe has a creator, that still leaves many possibilities. A deistic creator, multiple gods, an impersonal intelligence, or some conception of God completely unlike the Islamic one. Showing that a creator may exist is only the beginning of the discussion, not the end of it. So my disagreement with this lecture is not that Muslims should stop studying. It's exactly the opposite. Study deeply. Read the Quran. Read competing viewpoints. Understand evolution. Understand evolution, history, philosophy, and ethics. Do not be afraid of difficult questions. For me, serious investigation did not lead away from doubt and back to certainty. It led from certainty into doubt and eventually to the conclusion that Islam was not what I once believed it to be. If there's one lesson I hope viewers take away, it's this. Studying a religion deeply does not guarantee that you will remain in it. Sometimes it is precisely that honest study that changes your mind.